Welcome to the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable, where authors from all walks of life come together to discuss the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of publishing their books. I'm your host, Corey Graham. Join us here every Friday night at 8 p.m. or listen anytime via podcast at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, and PodServe, to name just a few. The Author Roundtable is sponsored by ReaderHouse Online Bookstore, where the independent new authors come first. Author Sheron Braden has written a heartfelt memoir titled The Journey of My Restoration, and we'll be talking all about it right now. Sheron is here with me at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. Sheron, welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell me what you've written about in The Journey of My Restoration?
Well, I've written mostly about the ups and downs of my life and what I've learned and how I learned to trust the Lord and follow His guidance.
Sheron, what kinds of readers do you think this would connect with the best?
Mostly people who have gone through grief, some sadness in their life, people who feel alone, and others who may just really want to search for why their life's journey might have been fraught with struggles.
So how did this book come about, Sheron? What gave you the inspiration to start it?
Probably just the life event and a lot of wrong choices, a lot of right choices, a lot of forgiveness from my Lord and for my family and friends, in hopes that the book will bring glory to God.
So when it comes to writing and publishing and everything, Sheron, is this all new to you, or are you experienced in it?
This is my first book, anything being published as a book in a collection of things. I have written for years, and I wrote for a small paper, and I've done things like that, but not a book before.
So once you started writing The Journey of My Restoration, was this a long process overall, the writing and publishing and everything?
Some of the things in the book relate back to in the 90s. Some reflect the 70s, but most of it was done in the last 1.5 years.
So once you started working with your publisher, Christian Faith, what did you find to be the most challenging part about the publishing process for you?
Actually, they've been really good with guiding me through everything. Probably the hardest part was the waiting in between sections and time and a little bit of angst about getting it all put together. But basically, they were greatly helpful. All of the people I've worked with so far have been very helpful.
There is nothing like seeing that finished product. So once your first copy came in of The Journey of My Restoration, it was finally in your hands for the first time, Sheron. What was that like for you?
It was a joy. It meant something of my life would be left on this earth and hopefully bring glory to God and be a legacy for my children.
And so now you're published, your work is out there for the world. What would you say is the most rewarding aspect of this all for you?
To see the look on the face of my grandchildren when they were handed the book. The second thing probably was hearing a lot of my family and friends relate to the book and to find comfort in the book.
So looking ahead, do you see yourself writing and publishing more, do you think?
Yes, I have another book I've been working on, and so I do hope to get it published in the near future. Mm-hmm.
Well, we have a lot of aspiring authors listening to us right now, Sheron. Do you have maybe some advice that you could offer to them?
As far as what I do to kind of get started is just realize your story is important and it's worth something, and it will touch a reader somewhere, either in emotional struggles or joy or grief or just the day-to-day life or just bring laughter into someone's life. It depends on where their journey is taking them and what their story is, of course.
This book is titled The Journey of My Restoration. It's written by Sheron Braden, published by Christian Faith Publishing, and available at places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Sheron, thank you again for coming on the show and chatting with me. It was really great.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Author Jessica Ann Ellis has written a charming tale in her new book, Got Your Back Always. And Jessica is right here with me now at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. That's what we're going to talk about. Jessica, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here with me tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jessica, can you tell me what you've written about in Got Your Back Always?
Absolutely. Got Your Back Always is a heartfelt and captivating story that explores the courage and confidence children gain in order to tackle life's trials. The story encourages young listeners to always remember the inner strength they have when faced with life's challenges. This book is a celebration of the special lessons that children learn from their parents, the belief that everything you need, you now have inside when venturing into the big world. Children and adults will love reading this book over and over again.
So how did this all come about, Jessica? What was your inspiration behind writing this?
Oh, absolutely. My two little boys, they hold my heart, and they've influenced my life in such a profound way. As an elementary school teacher, I always felt so lucky to take on the role of helping shape the lives of my students. When I became a mom, I stepped away from the classroom to raise my two sons full-time. Becoming a mom was a very profound and transformative experience for me. I truly feel like the lucky one to have learned so much from my children. They've taught me so many important lessons about life and about myself, and to appreciate the unique ways we each approach the world. It was getting close to the time where my youngest son was getting ready to begin kindergarten, and as his mom, I was experiencing some pretty big feelings about this. Each day, my boys had grown before my eyes, yet I couldn't believe how they had grown. I wrote this book to mark the momentous occasion of sending my youngest child off to kindergarten, and not only to help my son, but to process my own emotions and to help others going through similar transitions in their life.
So is this your first published work, or do you have experience in this kind of thing?
Yes, this is my first piece of published work.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So was this a long process for you overall, the writing and publishing and everything?
The process in all took me 10 months to complete. First, it was editing my manuscript. Next, it was creating the illustrations. And last was the page design and the cover design before it officially became a published piece of work.
And so once you finally had that first copy in your hands, what kind of a moment was that like for you?
Oh my gosh, it was incredible. It was such an exhilarating moment, unboxing and holding my published work in my hands. I remember feeling so humbled to have been given this opportunity and feeling so much pride in that moment. It's truly a moment I'll never forget. And I can remember so much anticipation because it was the culmination of all that love and dedication put into creating this book. I'll always remember my children sharing in this moment with me too.
So now that you're officially a published author, Jessica, what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of it all for you?
Hands down, the most rewarding aspect of becoming a published author has been sharing in the joy of the book's unique impact on someone, knowing someone has connected in a certain way with this book to help them on their own personal journey of growth.
So looking ahead, do you see yourself maybe writing a follow-up to this or some other sort of book?
Yes, I am so excited to share. I currently have another children's book in progress, the next one in the series, so please stay tuned for book-related updates.
Well, we have a lot of people listening to us right now, and they're authors who are also just starting out in all of this. So, Jessica, do you maybe have some advice that you could offer them?
You know, for anyone out there, if you have the dream, chase it. You miss 100 of the shots you don't take. The things worth doing can often be hardest at first, but just keep plugging along.
That's some great advice. What a wonderful book. Again, this is titled Got Your Back Always. It's written by Jessica Ann Ellis, published by Newman Springs Publishing, and available basically everywhere: Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Jessica, it's been wonderful talking with you tonight. Thanks so much again for being on the show.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
The new book by Greg Dosch is titled My First Rides, and it centers around a young boy who recounts all the different rides he has taken in the first few years of his life. The author Greg is right here with me now at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. We get to talk all about the book. Greg, welcome. Thank you for joining me tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me, Corey.
Greg, can you tell me all about what you've written in My First Rides?
Yeah, it's just an account of some of the first rides that kids take throughout the first few years of their life, up to maybe 5 years old, something like that. Whether it be a ride in the stroller to the park, whether it's riding on their swing set, taking a ride in the car to Grandma and Grandpa's house, taking their first carousel ride, to maybe their first airplane ride.
So is this a book then for young readers, would you say?
It definitely. My target audience is young children, but I would say that I've had a really good response from parents and grandparents, just reminiscing about whether it be their first rides or the experiences they've had with their children with rides, and or the parents now sitting down and reading to their young children, recounting, reliving those moments with their own children.
So what was your inspiration behind this? What gave you the idea to write it?
In the summer of 24, my wife and I were babysitting our granddaughter quite a bit, and she was only 2 years old at the time. And so that naturally led to reading a lot of children's books. I'm a retired educator, retired high school teacher. And reading those books, I thought, you know what? I think I can do this. And I think I said it enough times that my wife got tired of hearing me say it. And she finally kind of dared me to put my money where my mouth was and sit down and write it. So it all came from the fact of just reading so many books and, thinking, well, shoot, I can do this too.
So once you sat down, got started on this, was this a long process for you overall, the writing and publishing and everything?
It literally took almost exactly a year from the time, you talk about the inspiration when I finally decided, okay, I'm going to do this, until getting the book published. It was almost exactly a year. I started out, I first came up with the theme, just thinking of, like I said, my own kids back 30 years ago, and then the experiences with the grandbabies now. I came up with the theme rides, and that was pretty easy, honestly. Then I, started jotting down, putting notes in my phone of different kind of rides that, young kids take and they look forward to taking, and things that would be, recognizable to a young child that they could relate to, as they're sitting there looking at a book and see an airplane or see the horse on the carousel or whatever it might be. So I just started jotting down some ideas. And then the actual writing itself, it took some time because I tried to make the book flow, like a story, but there's also each individual ride. It's not a long description at all, but it rhymes. And that was the hardest part, to be honest, was to find the good rhymes that made the rhythm to the book.
So once you started working with your publisher, Covenant Books, what did you find to be the most challenging part about that publishing process?
I'm a very impatient person. I would say probably the hardest part was sitting and waiting. I would submit things, and then good for them, but bad for me. I wasn't the only author submitting transcripts and illustration requests and all that. So it was just the anticipation, the anxiety of waiting to get the stuff back so that I could proof it and that sort of thing.
I could only imagine what was going through your head when that first copy came in and My First Rides was in your hands for the first time, Greg. What was that like?
I have to admit, the book is, it's only 20 pages long and only has, 350 words or something in it. But I was very proud, to be honest. I felt accomplished. I was proud of what I had done. It made me very happy and very satisfied.
Well, it sounds like children and families are really going to love this book. Again, it's titled My First Rides. It's written by Greg Dosch, published by Covenant Books, and available pretty much everywhere, places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Well, Greg, thanks again for coming on the show and chatting with me. It was really great to talk with you.
Hey, it was great. I appreciate the time. Thank you, Corey.
Author Theresa DeSantis has written a thrilling romance titled The Sea Mist Inn. And that's what we're talking about right now here at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. Theresa is here with me. Theresa, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Theresa, can you tell me all about The Sea Mist Inn, what you've written here?
Okay, The Sea Mist Inn is about a woman of a certain age finding love again. The main character's name is Carolyn Vincitelli, and she opens up a B&B after the death of her husband with her adult son who has Asperger's syndrome. Her guests have often told her that she sees this mist surrounding the house at night, and magically their problem that they came in with has been solved. She's never seen this mist and doubts its existence until she does see it, which is what the book is really focuses on, what happens to her after she sees it.
So would you say romance fans are the best readers for this?
Oh, yes, romance. And romance, definitely.
So how'd this come about, Theresa? What gave you that inspiration to write it?
Well, it's going to sound silly, but I'm a very creative person, and somebody gave me an old dollhouse, and I needed a creative project, so I started fixing up this dollhouse. And it's an old Victorian, and as I'm working on it, the stories just started coming to me. I said, oh, this would be nice if this happened in this room. And as I finished the rooms, just different stuff came to me. And when I finished the house, I started writing the book. And that was a 3-year project. Now, I know it sounds silly that it's based on a dollhouse, but it was just very therapeutic for me at the time.
So when it comes to writing, publishing, and everything, Theresa, are you experienced in this, or is this all kind of new ground for you?
Well, this is my second book. I self-published my first book back in 2020. It's called Love at the Lake. Then the stores closed because the world closed down as soon as it came out. And I didn't have much of a chance to promote it at all. But I wasn't discouraged. This story was on my mind. So I said, I have to do this. This took a little longer. This took a few years to write and get published. I went through a divorce, and it took me a long time to figure out the ending for some reason. Then I finally decided to go for it last year.
So I take it you weren't working off of an outline. Are you the kind of writer that just starts writing and see where it goes from there?
Yeah, I start writing, and then I worry about how it looks, and then I keep telling myself, well, write it all out first, then go back and edit, because I'm thinking it's got to be right the first time. And I think that's where my son gets it, too. He's a perfectionist also. I just have to write out my ideas first, and then go back and put them in order and edit and make sure the punctuation is right and everything else.
Once you got to that publishing end of things, Theresa, what did you find the most challenging part about that?
Challenging? Well, they did a lot more promotion for me than my previous publisher. So being on a podcast was exciting, and they did a video for me. And it was just challenging because I had to do a lot more work in the promotion end of it, which I wasn't really familiar with at all. That was challenging. It was exciting, too.
So once it was finally a real thing, you're holding the first copy of The Sea Mist Inn in your hands, Theresa. What was that moment like for you?
Oh, it was kind of surreal because I wrote it under my maiden name as a tribute to my parents. And I'm just looking at it, and it's like, oh, my God, I did it, and you go through life, especially women, because we always put ourselves last, marriage, children, job, we got to do it all. And we never do much for ourselves. And when I finally decided, 4 years ago, I started writing it. And when I finally decided, I'm going to publish this, and to see it, it was just like, I don't know, it was just really just a beautiful moment.
So looking ahead, what do you think the chances are that you'll be writing maybe a sequel to this or something else?
Oh, I'm already working on another book because I have another dollhouse I have to fix.
Well, again, this book is titled The Sea Mist Inn. It's written by Theresa DeSantis and published by Newman Springs Publishing. So find it pretty much everywhere. Places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Theresa, thank you again for coming on the show. It was really great to chat with you.
Oh, thank you so much.
the audiobook edition of the book by Cole Phillips titled The Adventure of the Twisted Truths. Well, it just came out. You can pick it up wherever you usually pick up your audiobooks. We're going to be talking all about it. Cole is here with me now at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. Cole, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Cole, can you tell me what readers and audiobook listeners are in store for when they get into The Adventure of the Twisted Truths?
So, The Adventure of the Twisted Truths is a young adult mystery book that takes place in the city of London in the world of Terra, and it follows the adventures of young law student William Tudor as he works to uncover the secrets of the serial killer, the Grand Reaper, who a mysterious figure who has stalked the streets of the city of London 5 years ago and was rumored to have committed many murders.
So this is a young adult mystery audience you were going for here.
It is. It's geared mostly towards teenagers and young adults, but anybody can read it.
So how did this all come about, Cole? Where'd you get the idea to write it?
So I've always been a big mystery lover, and I've always loved reading like Sherlock Holmes. And I've loved watching mystery movies, and it struck me one day that I wanted to write a mystery novel of my own. So I just kind of sat down and gathered some ideas, and just kind of the story took place in my head, and I began to type it out.
So is this the first time you've done this kind of thing, or do you have some experience in it?
So this was actually the first full book I wrote. Before I finished it, I'd been kind of writing for a couple of years. I'd written a few drafts of a few books. I'd experimented in a few different genres, but I never actually completed a book. And this one was kind of my, hey, I'm going to finish a book. I want to complete a manuscript and submit it for publishing. So I sat down and just was like, yep, this is my first one I'm going to get finished.
So once you sat down, you got started on this. Was this a long journey overall for you, the writing and publishing and everything?
Yes, it was. So the original drafts changed a lot. It actually took me about a year. So it took me a couple months when I first started writing it, and then I kind of changed the direction I wanted the story to go. After that, it took me about 6 months. So overall, it took me about a year to complete the manuscript and then go back over and make changes and just make sure everything was how I wanted it. So it took me about a year to write it.
So once you got started on the publishing end of things, what did you find the most challenging part about that?
For me, I found it very easy. Christian Faith Publishing was very, very helpful. The way they set it up, it was very easy. I guess the most challenging part for me was just actually realizing, hey, this is actually getting published. And it was just a real kind of shock for me, I guess.
And now you have your first one out there. You're officially a published author. Cole, what would you say is the most rewarding aspect of it all for you?
I guess I would say just having completed the book. Like I said before, I started writing a few books. I'd written a few drafts of books, but I'd never actually completed one. So just sitting down and looking over my completed manuscript and just realizing I finished this, I wrote this, and then seeing it brought to life with the amazing cover art and just the beautiful text. And then it just really just kind of hit me this is it. I achieved a goal something I've wanted to do for years now, and I actually did it. And then also my family and friends who have read the book and loved it, it just made me feel just really happy. I achieved a big goal. That's something I wanted to do.
So are you the kind of writer that uses an outline of sorts, or do you just sort of start writing and see where it goes from there?
So usually if I'm starting a new book, I usually get inspiration if I'm out for a walk or at the gym. I'm kind of hey, this is an idea I have for a book. And then I'll just sit down, start typing. And then sometimes along the way, I'll take some notes and put them down and be hey, this is what I want. But usually it's just I get flashes of inspiration. I sit down and write, and that inspires me, using more flashes of inspiration. And then I kind of plot out how I want the story to go.
Well, I think readers and audiobook listeners are going to love this. Again, it's titled The Adventure of the Twisted Truths. It's written by Cole Phillips and published by the Audiobook Network. So find it at Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. Cole, thank you again for coming on the show. It was really nice talking with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
The new book by Denise, Shea, and Myra Bugbee is titled Praxidents. Accidents happen, praxidents don't have to. And Denise and Myra are right here with me now at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. We get to talk all about it. Denise, Myra, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. We're happy to be here.
Can you tell me all about Praxidence, what readers are going to find when they get into it?
Sure. Myra, can I start?
Yes, go ahead.
So I just want to say it's Praxidence happen, accidents don't have to. It's a children's book for ages kindergarten to about 6th grade, but I'm sure the adults who read the book are going to learn something too. Teaching people and children how, if you think ahead and anticipate consequences to actions, you can avoid the accident that's going to happen. And it really focuses on cause and effect and things that can be prevented with a little forethought.
So how'd this come about? What was your inspiration behind this?
I'll start and then you join in on how you made me write the book. But when my children were little, and Myra is my best friend and my sister, not by blood, the one God sent me, she was around and we would try to parent the children. And my son especially, who the book is mostly about, Stephen, he's the main character, would always make mistakes and do things wrong. And when I asked him what happened, he'd say, oh, it was an accident. And one day I got frustrated and I said, that was not an accident. That was a praxident. It was preventable. So that's how the word came out. And so I had shared this with Myra, and also being educators, started using that word at school. Myra, you could take over. You thought it would make a great book.
Yes, we thought it would make a great book, and we thought that a lot of the children and the teachers in their schools would really enjoy it and learn from it, and also the parents would learn from it. And just a point, Denise is a teacher, and I'm a retired elementary principal, so we've had a lot of experience with children.
And they're praxidents.
Yes, and they're praxidents. And Denise and I have written a lot of things together over the years, from articles to papers in my master's program. Actually, I wrote them and she helped raise the bar. So we did that same thing with this book, and we really are a good team together. We have different skills and put them together, and we think that we came up with a good product here.
Yeah, and when we thought we were done, and it was really cute, and I tested it out in my 2nd grade classroom, Myra said, we need to go back and rhyme it. And I was like, oh, that's so much work. Are you sure? And so she twisted my arm. We went back. We made it rhyming. So we have the rhyming elements in there, which is not as easy as Dr. Seuss makes it look. So if you're trying to keep to your content. And so became the birth of the book Praxidence.
So once you started on this, was this a long journey overall, the writing and publishing, the whole thing?
It really was. Yeah, because we dragged our feet on it. We had a really great idea, and Myra was busy being a principal, and I was busy raising children. And we talked about it. We'd work on it. We had no urgency to it. We just got to it recently.
I think we wrote it originally about 12 years ago, but we've every year since then tweaked it a little bit, and we're both fairly intelligent, but we had a hard time figuring out how to get it published, and that was our big holdup. So we're really glad that we have finally gotten it published, and a lot of our friends have purchased the books. Bookstores have it in them, and we're pretty excited about the book, and not just because it's a published book, but the values in the book really help children, teens, parents, adults, everyone learn from this. And even with adult friends, I say, be careful, that's about to be a praxident.
Well, this sounds like a wonderful book. Again, it's titled Praxidence. Accidents happen, praxidents don't have to. It's written by Denise Shea and Myra Bugbee and published by Newman Springs Publishing. So you can find it at places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and right down the street at your local bookshop. Denise, Myra, it was wonderful talking with you tonight and learning all about praxidence. Thanks again for being on the show with me.
Thank you so much, Corey. Appreciate you interviewing us.
Thank you.
The audiobook edition of the new book by Adiang Assuoe. It's titled Digging for Life, 4 Years a Slave. Well, it just came out. We're going to be talking about it. Adiang is right here with me now at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. Adiang, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so very much. I'm glad to be in your podcast. This is a great opportunity for me, so I'm really happy about it. I'm excited what we're going to talk about. Thank you so very much for inviting me.
I'm glad to have you. Can you tell me all about Digging for Life, 4 Years a Slave, what you've written about here?
It's a very moving narrative, that chronicles my very harrowing journey from Cameroon to the diamond fields of Angola. The main objective for the journey was to go to South Africa to get education, but unfortunately, this journey landed me as a slave in the diamond fields of Angola to dig for diamonds during the 27 years of war of Angola.
What sort of a readership did you have in mind for this?
Actually, this is for readers, individuals, right, who are interested in personal growth, emotional resilience, and mental health. For people who have experienced challenges such as anxiety, depression, or substance use, or even encouraging someone to understanding, appreciate honest, relatable storytelling that blends hope with practical insight. People who value books that not only tell a story, but also offers tools, inspiration for change.
So what was your inspiration to write this? Where'd you get the idea to start it?
Actually, the idea came from my true life experience and also from my mom, She was what we call today a fighter. I would want to say my personal life experiences also had a significant influence on me writing this book, Much inspiration came from moments in my life where I faced challenges, resilience, personal growth, So writing the book allowed me to explore those emotions and transform them into something meaningful that, others could relate to. The struggles my character faced in life, what I went through during the war and what I went through after the war, mentally, physically, the feelings, experiences, I've had witness in others, This gave me a deeper understanding of how difficult yet rewarding the journey towards healing and self-discovery can be. My own insight and lessons into the narrative. I hoped to create a story that feels authentic, that offers readers both comfort and hope, showing them that even in difficult seasons, growth and change are possible.
So when it comes to writing and publishing and everything, is this your first time doing it?
Oh, yes, it's my first time.
So was this a long process for you overall, the writing and publishing and everything?
Actually, since it's a personal story, it took me like 6 months because, I had to gather some facts. But most of it was like in me. I just had to develop courage to come out and talk about it. And when I started seeing myself as the voice of the voiceless, that's when I was really encouraged to talk about it. And the people in my entourage, they really encouraged me to talk about my experience during the war because a lot of young people, really like, for example, I come from Cameroon. And today there is a war going on in Cameroon, in the English part of Cameroon. So most of these young people want to have that dream to run away from the war, not knowing that ahead of this journey is a lot of challenges to succeed out there. So this book comes like a kind of revelation to these young people, the young people like people who are still struggling with life, trying to figure out who they are, what they can do, the possibilities in life. That inspired me a lot to, to tell them, to caution them about life, about this journey of, embarking into an unknown journey. You have to plan in life to get to your objectives,
And we're talking about the audiobook edition of this. So was that a challenge to find just the right voice you were looking for it?
Oh, yeah. I have various examples of voices because I was looking for something which the African man can understand and the European people in the West can understand the diction,
Well, this is definitely an important book. Again, it's titled Digging for Life, 4 Years a Slave. It's written by Adiang Assuoe, and it's published by the Audiobook Network. So go places you pretty much always pick up your audiobooks, and you'll be able to find it, like Audible, iTunes, and Amazon. Adiang, thank you so much for being on the show with me. It was really nice to talk with you.
It's my pleasure. It's a wonderful pleasure. Thank you so much for this opportunity to be on your podcast. Thank you so much.
The new book by Welton Alves is a beautifully illustrated retelling of the book of Genesis. It's titled The World That Was Perfect Genesis. Rochelle is sitting right here with me now at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. We get to talk all about this book. Rochelle, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Rochelle, can you tell me all about what readers can expect whenever they open up The World That Was Perfect Genesis?
Yes, absolutely. So The World That Was Perfect Genesis is the first of a series. They are stories taken from the Bible, but they're written for the ages of around 7 to 12. And they're written in a very fun and easy to understand way. And it's a captivating book that brings the child or the young teenager to want to read more and want to learn more about the Bible. Of course, this does not take place of the Bible, but it helps them want to learn more about God in a fun way.
So how did this come about, Rochelle? What gave you the idea to start off on it?
My son, he was about 11 at the time, and I found that he had no interest whatsoever in reading the Bible. And I tried buying all kinds of different books for him, but all he wanted to do was read these Captain Underpants books. And I saw that he was reading those day after day for like hours at a time. And I was intrigued. I was like, why is he reading these books, but he doesn't want to read any kind of Bible story that I buy him? So I started studying these books and realizing what captivated him and what made him want to read these. And that was my inspiration, actually. And I wanted my son to actually want to learn more about God. I wanted him to read the Bible. I wanted him to have this thirst for the gospel. So I prayed about it, and I just felt the Holy Spirit guiding me to make the books myself. And that's how I started it.
So do you have experience doing this kind of thing, or is this all kind of new ground for you?
I've already illustrated quite a few younger children books at the ages of 4 or 5 years old. They're more colorful and for smaller children. So I had the experience in doing those kind of books. But this was new, the older children. It was a fun experience. I absolutely love it.
So was this a long journey for you overall, the writing and publishing and everything?
Yes, it was a long journey. It took me quite a bit of time because it's a lot of study of the Bible to be able to get this accurate. And I didn't really want to leave any information out. So it took me a long time to understand it, to dig deep and figure out how to best put it so that kids understand even the hardest things like the genealogy. I tried to put it in a way that would be like, oh, I understand it now. That's so cool.
So once you had your manuscript ready, you started working with your publisher, Christian Faith. Rochelle, what did you find the most challenging part about that publishing process for you?
The most challenging part is patience. It's exciting. It's easy to just want it now, but you can't have it now. Everything that's good is worth waiting for. So, it's just the patience of waiting through the process to be done.
And there's nothing like seeing that finished product that you worked so hard for. So once your first copy came in, it was finally in your hands, Rochelle. What was that moment like for you?
It was great. It was amazing. The joy, it's a lot of excitement and joy seeing this in my hand. It was like, oh my gosh, it was just an exciting moment of my life.
So now you're published, it's out there for the world. What's the most rewarding aspect of this all for you?
It's the kids. Sometimes they come to me and they say, because of the book, they can understand better. And it's just those words that their joy in being able to want to read more of the Bible and know more about God. And that's what makes it worthwhile.
Well, it sounds like this book and this whole series is going to be such a blessing to so many readers. Again, it's titled The World That Was Perfect Genesis. It's written by Sheron Alves and published by Christian Faith Publishing. So pick it up at places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and right down the street at your local bookshop. Rochelle, it was really nice talking with you tonight. Thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
No Yellow Goop for Me. It's the new book by Melissa Ducote. We're going to talk all about it right now here at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. Melissa is here. Melissa, welcome. Thank you for being here tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited about this.
Melissa, I'm excited to learn all about No Yellow Goop for Me. Can you tell me what you've written about here?
So this is actually a story that I wrote with my daughter, her and I together, probably when she was around 7. We kind of just did it for fun, and it It was actually a gift that we gave to someone that we love very much in our church. And we actually gave it to her as a Mother's Day gift. So we wrote it together, but it's actually a true little story. So when it's centered around a scripture.
Melissa, what kinds of readers do you think this would be best for?
I think probably age group maybe 5 to 8, maybe.
So I love that you did this with your daughter. What was that spark, that inspiration that got you going on this?
I don't know. We always did have a really close relationship. She always wanted me to play with her and do little projects. So this was just a fun little project that we did. And, in the story, I write about how we always looked up scriptures in my old Bible, and we always highlighted them, the ones that were, stuck out to us or the ones that we wanted to learn more about. And she actually, always used the yellow marker, and she always wanted to use all the colors instead. So, and I talk about that in the book. So it's really a cute story, but I feel like it just kind of highlights the mother-daughter relationship really well, and I love that. And so I hope most people, pick that up in the book. We had fun doing it, and I would actually love to have the original one, back because, we put it away for years and years because my daughter is actually 28 years old now. And so we put it away, and then long story short, my husband found it. I had put it away. I had a copy of it. I took it out, and I was just so overjoyed to see it again. And I thought, well, this is really sweet, so I'm going to send it in. And I'm glad other people like it because I'm very flattered about that. But I'm excited to share it with other people and other children, and I do hope that, it touches people. It's a good way for us to spend time with our children, and it's so important for us to teach them scriptures and about Jesus.
So have you ever done anything like this before, Melissa, or is this all kind of new ground for you?
This is very new for me. One of the things that I think I do a lot of sometimes when I write, because I do write a lot. I've always written like a lot of birthday cards and little silly things and rhymes. And so I'm kind of known for the aunt that writes silly little rhymes in their birthday cards, and people kind of look for that. So, but this is actually new for me, but I'm excited about it, and I hope to do more. I actually have one that I'm working on now, so I hope, that people like it as well.
What do you think the chances are that you'll be writing and publishing more down the road?
I think that I will. I want to. I've been a nurse for almost 37 years. So this is very different for me. I do want to spend more time, doing this. It's a challenge, and I just really want, especially now, these times, I think we need a lot of spiritual inspiration. Our children do. And when I was a young girl, I read everything. I stayed in the library. I enjoy it. I still stay in the library. I love books. I'm constantly reading. I have 2 that I'm reading now. I like to read all sorts of things. So I think it's important that we show our children, how to read and just show them that it can be so joyful. And I feel like you can go anywhere and you kind of carry those books and stories with you in your heart, and you're able to share, and, it opens your mind and your heart to different things.
Well, it sounds like children and families are really going to love this book. Again, it's titled No Yellow Goop for Me. It's written by Melissa Ducote, published by Covenant Books, and available pretty much everywhere, like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Well, Melissa, thank you again for coming on the show. It was really nice talking with you.
Oh, thank you. You as well.
Author Bob Willis is here with me now at the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable. Bob, welcome. Thank you for being here with me tonight.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to talking about The Adventures of Dog. Dog is special, and The Adventures of Dog is the first book in a 4-book children's series, which I'm really excited about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, congratulations on The Adventures of Dog. So, Bob, can you tell me what you've written about here?
The book came about because I was encouraged to write it. I've written many books, but I haven't written any children's books. And Dog was getting a lot of attention on Facebook. We had all kinds of adventures on Facebook, and people enjoyed them, and they kept commenting on them. And several said, well, you need to write a book about Dog. And I said, you know what, that's not a bad idea. So I gave it some thought and put a manuscript together, a children's book. And as I finished that up and began looking for publishers and saw what was available for children out there, I decided that I would go ahead and write a 4-book nature series for children. Dog would be the first book. I've actually written all 4 of those manuscripts, and The Adventures of Dog is published. The second book is in the final stages of edit, and the final 2 books will be published next year. But The Adventures of Dog is a special treat because it's about a little blue heeler that came to the ranch as a little bitty puppy and grew up over a couple of years with many, many adventures. She actually took a long plane ride to get here from Texas, and we're in the Ozarks of Missouri. Her initial reception was a little befuddling to her. And so she had to figure out what it was like to live in the Ozarks amongst the trees and all of the critters. And during her time of getting adjusted, we went out to the ranch and showed her around, and she came face to face with the horses. It's a horse ranch. And she's a little bitty thing. I mean, she's not very big. And the horses were great big. She took a few steps back, but then she tried to herd the horses. She's a blue heeler. She's a little bitty puppy, and she's trying to herd these great big horses. It was fun to watch.
So you've written a lot before this, Bob. Can you tell me a little bit about your writing background?
Yeah, I started with a series of books called Trout Adventures. It's actually a 4-book series. I wrote 6 books. I published 4 of them. Those books are books that allow people to find all of the different types of trout around the world. The first book, Trout Adventures North America, we published 2,000 of those books. That book is sold out now. It has been for some time. It's no longer in print. And it's considered a rare book at this point. It costs several $100s if you can find one. People seem to really enjoy the trout books. And in fact, there are websites and a Facebook page called Trout Adventures to direct people to the various places around the world to find the different types of trout. Very successful series, very good. I published a historic novel earlier this year called The Last Buffalo in Kansas that is also doing quite well. That covers 100 years of American history, from 1850 to 1950. It's a really adventurous series, an adventurous book that tells people probably the history they didn't know. It's a family's view of life as they grew up in America. And then we came to Dog. And Dog is my best friend, and she does incredible things. She's a one of a kind. That book, I think, is a good book to start the children's series with because I think the children will really enjoy reading about Dog.
So once you got started on The Adventures of Dog, Bob, was this a long process overall, the writing and publishing, the whole thing?
Actually, in terms of how long it took, Dog did not take all that long. It took me about a year to do Dog. It took me 3 years to do The Last Buffalo, and the Trout Adventure series took me a decade, 10 years to finish all those books. So a year for Dog was not all that long. And when you begin writing, the writing part of it is not that difficult for me, but I'm also a photographer, and this children's book is different in the sense that it has photographs. There's some illustrations in it also, but it has photographs, actual photographs of Dog doing various things. And that really contributes to the story.
Well, what a wonderful book. Again, this is titled The Adventures of Dog. It's written by Bob Willis and published by Covenant Books. So you can find it at places like Amazon, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and traditional brick-and-mortar stores. Bob, thanks again for coming on the show and telling me all about The Adventures of Dog. It was really nice to talk with you.
Hey, it was nice talking with you, too.
We hope you enjoyed this edition of the ReaderHouse Author Roundtable, where authors from all walks of life come together to discuss the trials, tribulations, and triumphs of publishing their books. We hope to see you back here every Friday night at 8 p.m. or listen anytime via podcast at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, and PodServe, to name just a few. The Author Roundtable is sponsored by ReaderHouse Online Bookstore, where independent new authors come first.